Alright guys, today I'll be showing you how to remove and replace the starter on your Honda Accord or similar Honda vehicle. To begin with, first start off by disconnecting the positive and negative terminals from the battery using a 10mm socket. Then spray down the rusty threads of the battery clamp with WD-40 or something similar so that the nut can be removed with less struggle. So here I'm clamping down the threaded rod with a vice grip so that it doesn't turn while I'm removing the nut. After removing one of the nuts, you should be able to remove the battery from the vehicle. Now gently pull out the plastic battery housing and put it to the side. To remove the next few bolts, grab a 12mm socket and start off by removing the 12mm grounding bolt on the battery tray. Then work your way around the battery tray and remove the remaining two 12mm bolts. Aside from the bolts on the top, there are two 12mm bolts on the bottom of the tray as well that only have to be slightly loosened, and then you can pull it up and out. Here's a better view of the tray. Let me pause for a second and appreciate this magnetic tool right here. It saved me so much of my time from accidents like this. So if you want one, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below. Alright, back to the starter. First, remove the electrical terminal from the starter using a 12mm wrench for one bolt, and then move the wire to the side. And then gently pull out the smaller grounded wire by hand. For the starter, there are a total of two 17mm bolts holding it in place, one on the top and one on the bottom. Keep in mind that the bottom bolt is much longer than the one on the top. Make sure to securely place the socket on the starter bolt and then grab yourself a metal pipe for leverage and break both bolts loose. Here's the bottom bolt and the top one. Alright, so with the last bolt out, now you can freely remove the starter out of the vehicle. Now take your new starter and compare it with the old one, making sure everything is similar to the original one. Alright, so from here on out, everything is basically the reverse of removal. To install, let's start off by adding some medium strength thread locker to the bolt. Then start hand tightening the top bolt until it is slightly snug. And repeat the same process for the bottom bolt. After both bolts are snug, use a torque wrench and tighten the bottom bolt to 47 foot-pounds and the top one to 33 foot-pounds. Next, push in the small grounding wire connector until it snaps in place. Then tighten the washer nut for the electrical connection with a 10mm socket until it's snug. Finally, cover the connections with the rubber boot. Seat the battery tray on the two bolts and press it down until it's firmly seated. Tighten the two 12mm bolts. Tighten the remaining bolts on top until snug. Reattach the ground connection and tighten the bolt. Reinstall the plastic battery shield, making sure to seat it securely. Then place the battery on the tray. Hook both sides of the battery clamp to the metal slot below and tighten both nuts until the battery is secure. If the threaded rod is rusted, repeat the same process as in the beginning of the video. Clamp the vice grip and start tightening the bolt. Finally, reattach the battery terminals and tighten with a 10mm socket. Alright, finally the moment of truth. Will the car actually start? And there you have it. Within 1 hour, your car is finally back to normal and on the road again. If this video helped you in some way, it would be great if you could leave a like as well as subscribe. And as always, all the links I mentioned will be down in the description below.